Ready to go. Okay, good evening, my Rabbi Maharal. It's Parshas Vayeishev, and we are a few days before Chanukah. Next week will already be smack in the middle of Maharal Shiur is going to be on Chanukah. So I think it's appropriate that we do some Maharal on the Inyan of Chanukah. The Maharal wrote a sefer called Ner Mitzvah. Ner Mitzvah, as he writes, Neiris Chanukah. The Maharal begins Ner Mitzvah discussing the dream of Daniel. I'll give you a little bit of background. Daniel, in Parak Zion of Daniel, he describes a dream of 4 winds blowing against the water. 4 winds from 4 different corners of the earth. And they're smashing and churning the water. And in the dream, 4 different chayas come up from the water. Each one, and Daniel tells of exactly what the features. One came looking like a lion, the next one like a bear, the next one coming like a namar, a cheetah, or a leopard, and then the other one was a ferocious animal. The other one was a ferocious animal, bigger than all the other ones, with multiple heads. And the Maharal goes on to explain that these 4 animals are keneged the Arba Malchios: Bavel, Modai, Malchus Yavan, and Malchus Edom. The 4 Goliaths of Klal Yisrael. He goes on to explain that the fact that there are 4 is not a coincidence. The fact that there are 4 is because the world, like the world, has Arba Kanfei Sa'aretz, and each side of the world, Ke'ilu, each chelik of the Aretz is there and has its own koyach, and each one comes to fight Keneged Klal Yisrael. Even though Klal Yisrael was in Mitzrayim, and Mitzrayim is also known as Mi Mitzrayim Ga'al Tanu, there was a Golis and there was a Geula, but Mitzrayim is not considered a chelik of the Arba Goliaths. Farvos. Maharal explains because the Goliaths represent once Klal Yisrael established a Beis HaMikdash and established a Mokaim of Kvoid Malchusay Yisbarach. Once Klal Yisrael established a place of Kvoid Malchusay, then every single one of these nations were shoilet on the Beis HaMikdash in one way or another, and mevatel kvoid shamayim. So whether it was Bavel who destroyed the Beis HaMikdash, Paras Umadai who was in charge and didn't let us build the Beis HaMikdash until they gave us Rishus, Yavan who came in was Metama the Beis HaMikdash, and Edom, the Roman Empire that ultimately destroyed the Beis HaMikdash a second time, meaning the second Beis HaMikdash, and we're still in their Golis. When Klal Yisrael established itself as a Malchus, at that point in time, anyone, and whose Malchus was it? Melech Malchei Amlochim, the Rebbeinu Shalom's Malchus. So any time one of the nations would fight with Klal Yisrael, it's like it says, a Melchama al Hashem va'al Meshichai. You're not just fighting us, you're fighting Kaviyachol, the Rebbeinu Shalom Alein. It's a milchama keneged the Rebbeinu Shalom. When a Yid does something good, it's a Kiddush Hashem. When a Yid Chalila does something which is Shalech, then it's obviously a Chilul Hashem. Ato Kodesh, V'shimcha Kodesh, U'Gedoshim B'chol Yom Yalucha Sela. Shamenu Karosa Bishmecha. Our name is forbidden with your name. When a Yid does something good, Kiddush Hashem. Cholila bad, Chilul Hashem. So we're B'ni B'chai Yisrael. The Rebbeinu Shem feared Tavelt through Klal Yisrael. So the Melchamas with Klal Yisrael are Melchamas Kaviyocha with the Eibishter. It's Melchamas with the Rebbeinu Shem. In this whole shtikala, we're going to focus on one part of what the Maharal says that I photocopied for you. On page where it begins, this is the Kol Zeh, like this, V'omnam. Kasha, we'll start where there's a little line over here, Omnam. And however, Omnam, first column on this page, and it says the word Omnam. Kashero Nebuchadnezzar Rosha Arba Malchus. Daniel had translated these 4 dreams for Nebuchadnezzar. They weren't Daniel's dreams. Daniel also had dreams, but this was Nebuchadnezzar's dreams. Kashero Oisoi B'Toyer uBetzelem HaAdam. Ro Ha'ut Salma Roisha Didahav. He saw one of them had the face of gold, and he saw the whole Ki Eitzel Nebuchadnezzar. When he saw Nebuchadnezzar saw this dream, Klape him, he saw what looked like a Tzura Sa'adam. Ve'im kol zeh, yesh hefresh gadol. There's a difference between the Adam that he saw and the Adam of Klal Yisrael. V'rosh yer nirin elu dalad malchias Adam echad. The 4 Malchias together, as even though they came out as Chayas, but they also, right here, you can have this, was Malchus Echad. Adam Echad. Ki yesh ba'adam gimel dvarim. A man is zusammengestellt from 3 different parts. A man has Seichel, that makes him unique. Echad is he's got Seichel. Milerami menu koyach nafshi, a koyach of his nefesh, a koyach of the energy that a person has in his guf to do things. And then his guf himself, a koyach gufani. You can have sometimes a person who is very strong, but very slow. Very strong, but very fast. Very fast and very stupid. Very smart and very slow. The different koiches of a person, seichel, 1, swift, fast, zrizus. Koyach of strength, yedain is an under koyach. Some people have all. Oichet smart, they're also smart, they're also fast, and they're also strong.
Oh, they have none.
What's that?
They have none.
And some people have.
No.
Mary, you're okay. Don't worry.
I know.
Yedain is a koyach. Yedain is a koyach. Zok the Maharal, the fact that each one of these malchios came out looking different, each one beside was keneged a different chelik of the tzura sa'adam. The Paras Umodai, the Gemara says that they came out looking like a bear. The Gemara says, you can see it over here, Malchus Sheni, Malchus Modai, Ki Gufay Adam. Koiches, they were like, the Gemara says it's underlined. Says the Gemara, Sha'oichlim v'shoisim kedoiv. They eat like a bear, misarvlin kedoiv, megadon sar kedoiv. They sit there mefrest, and then they go and hibernate. The doiv is one big goof. Achashverosh makes a su'uda 180 days. Right? The Megillah describes people that go from party to party.
Bigger than the wolves and Sudan.
They go from Vayeishev Hamelach Achashverosh Masal Haaretz, right? Evos Villa out is Tze'esen and taxation. That's him. If you flip over, we're going to focus on Chanukah tonight. The Koyach HaMalchus She'achrav Ro Oisei Daniel Kenamer. It sees him like a cheetah or like a leopard. Mipnei ki malchus zeh keneged chelik hagimel sheba'adam. Ki chelik hagimel hu chelik haseichel. The person has mitzad echad ehot haguf, ehot hanefesh, and ehot haseichel. Seichel means is his intelligence. The fact that a person, there's scientists, there's physicists, there's doctors, there's builders, all of these things are koyach haseichel. The koyach haseichel is a human koyach. Aber it has the capacity to bring a human being up and make him more unique than any other creature in the world. The koyach of Yavan was the chelek of the tzuras ha'adam, that was the chelek haseichel of the adam. The philosophy, the parts that are all to do with chakiris and everything to do with the intellectual chelek of the human. V'lekach hoyanosnim daitam al haTorah. Therefore, for them, this part is underlined. For them, they were interested in the Torah. But ulevatol oisai mi Yisrael. Ki lo hayarotze shetehei hachachma bifrat she yoiser chachma v'yoiser elyoinem and hachachma ha'enusha shahaya lahem. For them, this chachma represented a challenge. For them, this chachma represented something that made them feel intimidated. As it says, v'chein amu b'medrash, malka v'soreo b'goyim ein Torah. When they want to lead and when they want, that's why they're always there. The chelek of goyim that look to be mevatel our Torah and don't let us act like Jews are not the chelek that cares about whether or not, right? They're not the chelek haguf of the goyim. It's a chelek of the goyim that's the intellectual part. Zokt the Maharal. This milchama, while we finished fighting with Paras u'Modai, and they're long gone. And we finished fighting with Bavel, they're long gone too. Even though the Greeks as a nation is not here, over the koyach and the milchama never stopped. It's a continuous galus, meaning that a Jew should have the pressure that the Welt outside of him challenges him. What are your mitzvahs? Why do you do them? And the fact that there's so many koiches in the world that are there to be mevatel Torah, that's an ongoing machlokes. The Chag, right? Tmeim biyad tahirim, Rishayim biyad tzadikim, Zaydim biyad oiskei sorasecha. If there's a golus that's ongoing, and it's not just an alta golus, but it's an achshavi, it's a continual golus, it's Zaydim biyad oiskei sorasecha, Rabbim biyad ma'atim, Tmeim biyad tahirim. That type of machlokes is still around today, which means that every victory that we have, bichlal ubifrat, is another celebration of Chanukah. Because the tzura of the machlokes that we have with the Yevonim is an ongoing machlokes. Zokt v'zeh shara Daniel malchus shlishi. Shoyudoimer l'nomer, that he was dafka like a cheetah. Ki zois hachaya who oz biyoser. It's the animal that has, oz means strength, and oz sometimes means a lashon of chutzpah, like azis punim. A person who is azis, you know the lashon of azis punim? You've been called that once in a while, right? Me too. Oz v'zois hamida shayches el ashu muchen el achachma. If you want to know, the koyach of oiz has a positivity. The Gemara says, the Mishper Gavas, loy habaishin loymit. In order to learn, a person has to have a little bit of chutzpah. Medaf kenen fregen akasha. You have to ask, you have to challenge. You see someone says something, you hear something, nunu, meichi teising, ein habaishin loymit. But as soon as a person says, no, I don't like what you're saying, zemafria, it bothers me, and a person has the chutzpah, so to speak, unefrekt, that's the chutzpah de kedusha, because that's what a person, from them, a mensch can learn. V'lekach midas Yisrael hi ha'azus. If there's any midah that Klal Yisrael has, steht in Chazal, we're known as azus. That's right. K'roi shomer bebeitza, tonu mishmei Reb Meir. Mipnei ma nitna Torah liYisrael, mipnei shem azin sheba'umais. Steht in the Gemara. We're the most, my Rebbe Zechron L'Rocha used to say, Jews are so pushy. They're so aggressive. They're always trying to, they never want to stand back in line. They always want to push ahead. Why should I wait in the back? Whether it's getting onto a bus or whether it's waiting in line on the highway, they're all mishtipped. They're always stipping. They're always looking. Whether it's in business, what do you mean? Why should I pay retail price? They're always looking for an angle. Why should I go out and pay for that? Let me see if I can get it for billiger. Whether it's they open up a company and they try to get over the koyach of azus was licked in a yid it's a chelik of their mitzias. It's a chelik azim sheba'umas. The Torah Kedosha has a koyach Hashem oiz li'amo yitein. It's bamished sigepast for people that have azus. It mitigates or it's able to take the azus and channel it in the richtige weg. Aber sollst du wissen, one azus ponim can't stand another azus ponim. When two people are azay ponim, they butt heads. The namer, which is the cheetah, it says the Maharal was the koyach of azus by the goyim. That represents the azus by the goyim. Zokter, Omar Tanu de Rabbi Shmuel, Mimina Eish Das Lam, Omar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Uyim Halolosh Titanoslam Eish Das. They should get this. Why? Shil molei loy nitna Torah liYisrael and kol umma v'loshen yicholim lamed b'fneihem. Their azus is so strong that they need the Torah to give them a balance so they can use this energy for the right direction. Now, the Maharal writes elsewhere that the koyach of Yavan was always, we are better than you. Like the Seichel, smarter, better, more geschickt. It says, Yevanim nikbetzu alai, uportzu choymais migdolai. They came to be pirates. They pushed through. Zog the Maharal, Yavan, Yud Vav Nun, is 66. Heichal, Hey, Yud Chaf Lamed is 65. When they broke through, they were Portsu, and they came into the Heichal to be Mitama Kol Hashmanim. Zog the Maharal, Yavan is Mitayn with one more than Heichal. Kilo, they came with Zenen Ibegeklärt. We're smarter, we're bigger, we're better, more chutzpah than Mamela, we can push ourselves in. It's one thing to destroy the Beis HaMikdash. It's another thing to take the Beis HaMikdash and say, I'm shoylet on the Beis HaMikdash. That takes, to break a Beis HaMikdash takes strength. To overpower it and say, Ich bin the Balabus, that's chutzpah. That's the azus. And that's what the Klal Yisrael, that was called fighting Klal Yisrael with their own medicine. Which part of Klal Yisrael was able to be misgaber over the Yevonim? Which chelik of Klal Yisrael was able to be misgaber over them? Welche chelik? Who was that? Kohanim. Wo steht of Kahanim? Kahanim is Rizimheim. They're azus. That's right. That's why the kohen has to have that get, which we just learned, get mashulish, because they get so angry. You have to give them a get because they've missed, and that's it. It's done, and there's no backseas. The koyach of azus the kedusha, the zrizus of kohanim, the zrizus of kohanim. Right, the kohen has that koyach to be zoriz iber. That's why the Chaisamai Shel Koyin Godol, that they could, in other words, as much as the Zrizus of this nation came to fight against Klal Yisrael. There's a Nekuda in Klal Yisrael that has its own koyach hazrizis, which cannot be given over to the hands of those Yevonim. That's the koyach of the koyin. Maharal later on writes, we learned this a few years ago, that in the kohen there's a little, well, Bais Medrash next week when we learn together, there's a little koyach of a yud, which is nister in the name kohen. Kohen has a
Right, has a yud.
not just the hey, but in the pronunciation of the hein, the kohen, right? So that there's an extra koyach of kedusha in the kohen, which is misgaber over the koyach of Yavan. While Yavan has a koyach to be shoylet on the heichol, the kohanim, who are the meshorsim, have a koyach to be shoylet ibr Yavan. Rabim biad ma'atim, Tmeim biad tahorim, Rishayim biad tzadikim. The Nes of Chanukah, zok the Maharal. Let's chazer and let's summarize. V'balt each one of the Malchios, the Arba Malchis come to fight against Klal Yisrael bekoyach shalahem. Yede Eina has their koyach. Sometimes it's a koyach of they offer Klal Yisrael. This is the hanos of the world. Eat, right? Enjoy, vacation. That's one type of tumah. That's one type of lifestyle. Nehene mesudas achashveirosh. That's one type of tumah. That's a tumah of the guf. And Enochanami at that time, haroi kol Yehudim. That was the Purim dikas milchama. The Chanukah dika milchama is an under milchama. It's not about kashrus and not kashrus. It's about Torah. It's about living your life a life of being mekusher to the Rabbeinu Shalom, of living a life where what's valuable is a life that brings out kvod shamayim, a life that shows that the Rabbeinu Shalom and his Torah is Torah Kedosha. That's the milchama of the Malchus Hashlishis, the Malchus of Yavan. That koyach is a koyach of our chutzpah versus their chutzpah. Azus shelanu or azus shelahem. Zrizus shelanu or zrizus shelahem. Kilu hakoyach of seichel shelanu or seichel shelahem. This milchama is an ever ongoing milchama. It's a milchama that happens in every single yid. In every yid, which has a chance to learn Torah, but on the other end sees the chachma in the world and asks himself to make a decision: what's more chashuv, and what am I going to put my time into? Am I going to spend my time and invest the time in learning Torah and being machshav the Torah, or Chalil, I'm going to spend all my time doing other things? The Torah mati alev, Torah kedosha. It's a milchama that every single yid has daily. It's a milchama keneged Yavan, which we have and we have to deal with constantly. This milchama, when it comes this time of the year, we celebrate Klal Yisrael's victory. We celebrate the fact that Klal Yisrael were minatzech. When it came, push came to shove, and Klal Yisrael had to be misgaber over that koyach hatoma, they were able to push back, and that's mamish, the ner mitzvah v'Torah are of this Yom Tif. It's not a Yom Tif like any other Yom Tif, in the sense that all the other Yomim Tovim, besides for being Chayiv Adam Liris Es Atzmai Ki'ilu Hu Yotzim Mitzrayim, it's as though I left Mitzrayim, right? This isn't Ki'ilu. This goes on every day. This is a Melchama from Heint, and it's a Nitzachen from Heint. When a person lights Chanukah Licht, he should have in mind that this is a victory that I was misgabering. It wasn't just in the days of Chashmonoyu. Achvei says mezokt v'mei Chashmonoyu uvanov kishamdam malchus harshal amcha Yisrael. But lemaisa, it's an ongoing milchama with an ongoing battle, and with the Rabbeinu Shalom's help, ongoing victory. So matak alle zoiche sein. To understand that the Yom Tif is a heintige Yom Tif. It's a Yom Tif which is neged to every single one of us. And every time a Yid opens up a sefer and he sits down to learn and he devotes time to learning, he comes from his business or goes something before he goes to his business and he devotes time to learning, he's being minatseach in this. He's part of the Rabbim biyad ma'atim, the Tmeim biyad Tohirim, the Rishonim biyad Tzadikim, the Zaydim biyad Oiskei Sarasach, as a chelik von jenem Melchama, and as a chelik von jenem Nitzachen. So mezoich is ein Be'ezus Hashem is baruch all of us to celebrate together, v'seshteit, what the Melchama that we start now, Oz Egmar B'shir Mizmar Chanukah HaMizbeach, B'Korev.
How long does it take you to a fifth each year?
This is a personal question, top notch.
Depends.
It's blown away every single week.
Yeah, Shekayach.
The white firms about that stays in Alabama.
For a different reason. That's which light it came from. That's a different cheshbon. Which koyach hakadusha we brought down for it. Next week is by me in the house, Rabbi Say. 8:15, Zera Shimshon together with Maharal with a siyum. 55 Marin away at Sliba Bayit.
It's the CM